what are the odds for XRP doing a 2017 lakh bull run? What are the possibilities of that happening now in 2022 or starting in 2022? So when we go back to look at how that kick started, you see a major breakout in XRP BTC after a long-term drop, respecting that trend line. So when you go to look at what is happening right now in the XRP BTC pair, it seems like, yes, you do have something in similar, something in common. You had a trend line resistance trending to the downside, and the price always respected that range. But right now, the price is above that resistance and the 200-day moving average. So if you take 100 steps back, look at like last 5 years, 7 years, you see this. After 2000 days, XRP is doing this stuff again. Now that's a long time to be patient inside the market if you entered at the top of 2018. Now, remember, I'm talking about guys who entered here. If you entered here in 2021 top, you are still lucky because, it's still a time of reversal, or it's way closer to the bottom than the top. So right now, if you look at the last consolidation, it was 800 days, and then you did a 75x against Bitcoin. Now you're doing 1,666 days in consolidation as you break higher. So do you think it's going to be 75x or 150x? No one knows, but I don't think it's going to be small considering all the developments which we have in the fundamental side. But as you go look at different stuff like this, say XRP Ether, gives you that idea that wave 2 and wave 3 is going to be blasting. Now, it can vary in terms of XRP Ether based on the volatility, like, you got like 35, 40x because Ether was also going higher. Now, this time, if you look at this, you had a long-term base, you are bouncing from that level, and you need to break through this long-term trend line. And that would give you an idea of how we are doing in the market. And right now, yesterday we talked about this possibility of a double bottom. Today we saw price going to test that double bottom, but we did not break higher yet. The entire market is in red and it's weighing on XRP. But XRP is one of the only asset which is trying to grind higher in a market where everything is dropping. We talked about Ether, saying that if it's breaking that level, we are looking for something like 1,300, 1,250 range. And right now, Ether actually broke lower. It is having that weight to the downside. But does that actually mean everything is going to hell? I really don't think so. But one thing to note here is XRP is more behaving like a stable coin. When all the stable coins are moving up, XRP is moving up. So on a weekly, you see like, okay, XRP is doing much better than a lot of other currencies here. When Ether is down 20% for this week, XRP is up for 5%. That's surprising. Usually we get even more tested with our patience level, right? So we need to actually see how things are evolving. We need to break these down and see what are the odds for us getting those big, massive numbers like 2017. So if you are liking this information and the way we are going, please do hit that like and subscribe button. This is the scientific investor family, where the normal retail guys learn how to become the next top 10%. So as we look at the price, we do understand that we have been creating a base which is long enough and we are bouncing from that. So when you go here to see how the price is reflecting, we can say, okay, the MACD is trying to cross back higher, 1, and 2, the RSI is creating a double bottom and starting to make a trend line, rising trend line. So that's interesting there. And as you go look at this, we literally had a break out from this, but right now the price, corrected a little bit lower. So we are literally waiting here to see a daily close, a weekly close, all of them coming in aligning. Because on a 3-day, we are breaking. resistance here in the RSI is breaking. So we need to actually see the same happening on a weekly, where the price actually pierces the 20-day moving average for the first one, as the first one, and then go test the 200-day moving average. So right now, when you observe the price action here, you're still inside that double bottom pattern. The entire market is looking so mixed and negative, where you see Bitcoin is like, 3% down for last 24 hours, and Ether like 9% down. So we've talked about that before. Like Ether has more downside possibilities to reach this level, because if it's not bouncing from this level too, now that's going to be bad, because the entire merge was not looking good in general. And then you actually go look like who are in green. Some of these are barely in green. So the entire market for last 24 hours was shaking. But when you look for last 1 week, you see like Chili's, XRP, along with some of these stable coins are in green, right? And right now, they are also slowing down with the market. So one thing which we are observing is where the volume is. The volume is in the stable coins. Now we will check whether they are going out of the market, or they are looking to enter into the market, or they are entering back into the market as they see opportunity. So now you literally can actually go into a short-term chart. Say this is an XRP short-term chart, 4-hour chart of XRP. First thing which you will notice here is that you literally broke this level. So a retest coming back to 0.36 and a bounce is going to be great stuff, because your base here was this, and then your resistance is this previous support turn resistance. Now we're getting rejected there. So to get a bit more clear picture, can go on to a 12-hour or a daily, seeing long wicks coming in. So what we really want to see here is that the price goes up, test this range, great, then come back down to this range, 0.36. So it should actually look something like this, and then bounce off from that range. Now, take that on a daily. It gives you a move like, okay, you are literally testing this level, breaking this, faking out, coming back down, kind of, locking in some of the buyers or buy the breakout guys, and then the retest and bounce. So if this is continuing, we would like to see this continuing all the way up to test this 200-day moving average on a daily. So that would be somewhere close to 0.48, 0.5 range. Now, at the same time, when you look at the RSI, you are not actually observing RSI trending lower. It is still having a higher high there, along with the understanding that we are trending to the upside in terms of the low. So I would actually stay with that narrative where I see like, okay, there is one thing like this, and there is another level which we are keeping our eyes on. So to understand, now both of these patterns are in the same chart. We just want to know like which one has the higher odds. So if the price is bouncing or retesting and bouncing from this particular level without coming way down to 0.36, then I would argue that, okay, the chances are high that this is the pattern which the algorithm is following. Because most likely there is a lot of trading activities happening, high frequency trading bots are entering, because this is one of the assets which is in green, and the volume increased like 40% in last 24 hours. We've been following this from some time, right? And we actually understand that. So as we get into these facts, we also look at the general market, say Ether. It's actually correcting. Now, when you're in a parallel line, I would say that's a correction, and you would actually follow the impulse direction before that once you finish this correction. So there is a possibility that the price can actually still break higher, go test this. But if you break this level here, that may not be actually looking good. Now, fundamentally speaking, there is a lot of chance that's going to happen, because, I don't see this merge and everything associated with it as great. They need to still come up with a lot of other stuffs inside the same protocol, and no one knows how long it's going to take, because they already took like 7 years to do this stuff. So going back, we are observing that, yes, against Bitcoin, which is comparatively much stable than Ether at the moment, because they haven't changed their mind. They did not actually move in a POS, and they're still there. And still XRP is able to break above this. So it's not only because Ether is volatile, we are seeing XRP going higher, it's also because we are trying to break through towards this level on a macro scale. Because as you go look at a lot of different things inside the market, you see like, okay, a lot is actually happening. We all want this big win and we are all waiting for that. But the chances of we getting that now, I'm not sure about that. But there is going to be a huge possibility that as the dollar slows down, you may still see an upside. If you remember, we've been talking about this from some time. If this is getting rejected, if this is getting rejected or breaking higher, right now is still below that resistance. So what you want to see there is this getting rejected and coming lower. That would give more breathing room for the entire crypto space. Now, looking at SEC, Ripple called for immediate ruling in this suit. Now, both of them actually argue that right now is a time where, we need to see some kind of settlement, right? We are looking at all these and we are kind of, the fundamental stuff is like, okay, this is going up, meaning in last 1 week, 45% is up. So you go to Google Trends, look at this and you're like, okay, there is something happening. People are searching this and they are actually looking at, if you go look at this, most likely you're going to say like, okay, I'm going to buy this, but never take the narrative from these guys. Because back in the days, they were saying like there is no inflation and you know what happened, right? Whereas if you do your due diligence, you understand the reality of one network expanding and how it is really working out, then you are able to see like, okay, there is a lot happening. So inside the altcoin space right now, you see a lot happening with some of the assets, getting more adoption. Especially for XRP, it's already having a ton of adoption. And along with that, they are adding one by one more. Just the SEC is actually slowing us down. And when you see SEC is trending, for me, I'm like, it may not be for the right reasons for sure. Because, they can say like, I won't. Now, I was just joking like, no moto, whereas it's no Komoto. So, Satoshi Nakamoto. So, I just jokingly say that. So, here, if you are looking at this, I would actually call for like, this guy is still there. The Luna Terra still, crashed the entire market here. And, there were guys who were having even bad judgments. And they got actually, the treatment they wanted or they needed. But here we see like, okay, what's going to happen? We don't know. So you really have to see like the end game all behind this. When I personally look at this, I would actually say that. Now, if you come back to the market and look at the market, in a sense, saying like, okay, what are the odds that XRP may drop down with the market? So for that, first, I would personally go look at XRP BTC and then compare it with the XRP USD pair. So if it's me looking at XRP BTC on a daily, this is what I'm looking at. You actually got a breakout. Great. You went to that measured move. Great. Now what you want is a retest and bounce. So you broke higher. You came till here. This is not that black line. It's the price being volatile. And now you want it to come down, retest this level, and then bounce through this level of resistance. Now that level of resistance is going to be one key level because it has been a level of resistance for a long period of time. Even this time when we reached there, it kind of slowed us down. So 1 year worth of resistance can be broken if we retest and a lot of people jump in because they are searching for this. Most likely when the price drops, it's kind of saying like, okay, the price is dropping, let me buy in. That kind of happens. That kind of happens in the market. And that may reduce the supply and push us higher because, the supply comes by the early time of the month. And right now we're going to the end of that. So in a week, if we get this retest to the downside, we don't want the Fed to come out and say, we are doing another 100%, 100 basis points hike. That may not be a good thing. 1% directly going up may not look good. Now, if you go on to look at XRP USD on a similar horizon, a daily chart, we would actually say like, okay, the market is reacting still. This was the only one coin which was staying stable, but right now it's also getting impacted with the market volatility. And we would like to see this bouncing from the previous level of support. So that would be this level of resistance turned into the next resistance, should turn into next support. That's the bullish case. If we break below that, now we are coming all the way back down to 0.34, then 0.32. But if we hold this, we may actually bounce. So, in different parts of the world, it's already September 19th and people were expecting the settlement of the case. And that's one of the issue where, when you push that narrative too much, a lot of people buy into that thinking, okay, there is going to be something happening, and it doesn't happen. So sell the news even does happen, and sometimes it's bad. But when the entire market is dropping, I would say that was really good. Even if that narrative was wrong, that helped XRP. Instead of going to 0.25, we are still at 0.36. So we went up when the entire market down. Usually what happens when the market goes down, XRP goes down even harder. When the market goes up, XRP is stable, right? So I can generally see that on my portfolio, like XRP does not do anything. Others do probably good numbers. Still, my portfolio is not heavily up because I'm heavy in XRP. And then recently, last 2-3 days, I'm observing other coins are going down, but my portfolio is slowly going up. I'm like, what's happening, right? So that did actually help in with that narrative. But now, when you actually go look at Ether and say okay, if it is bouncing from here, that again can push the narrative. So if you're taking that in percentage terms, you would say okay, if Ether bounces, that's another 25% to the upside. It may help it to come back to neutral area for the week and allow the entire altcoins to slowly move back higher. So for this, we actually go look at the entire altcoin market, and the altcoin market is still here. We haven't, in last video, we talked about this, right? We have not moved much. We are still volatile in this range, and we are still trying to break through this range. We need to actually see a breakout. We're still waiting for that. We have not done anything huge. So as you wait inside this market, don't just buy into the narratives of we are in a bear market, we are going down, whatever. You can take your decision for yourself, but keep in mind, you usually get accumulation in the market and then reaccumulation in the market before you actually go one crazy run up. So you can literally go look at different assets which has actually done 3-wave structures. Literally, you can go in and see all these assets doing 3-wave structures, right? You can literally plot it so easily that you got wave 1, you got wave 2, you got wave 3. So that's SNX in that SIA coin in last cycle, and then you go look at SNX in this cycle. So you get this one. So literally, it's the easiest way to see 1, 2, 3. Then at the same time, in the same market, you see other assets like Quant, which actually did 2-wave structures. So if I clear all this and you look at the market, you'll see wave 1, wave 2. So if you go on a monthly to get a bit clear picture, you'll see this, right? You actually had this move where you have completed wave 2. Now you're looking for the wave 3. So you saw assets completing wave 3. You saw assets doing wave 2. Now you go look at XRP, which is an asset which, haven't even started wave 2. So personally, I would argue that you just completed your wave 1, you corrected back down. Now you're looking for your wave 2. We need to see how high we go. We need to look at the volume and how things evolve. But on a monthly, when you're staying here, what you really want to see happening in the next 12 days is that we hold this range or break higher. We don't want to see breaking lower, because on a monthly term, that's not good or attractive for price action, because 0.32 is a strong range where we've been closing on monthly 1 to 3 months, and this one we need to actually see going higher and closing on a green note. That's going to be bullish. If not, it's going to be bad. Now, what are the possibilities of we going higher? I would actually argue that has the higher odds when we show a double bottom with a rising low and then the rising trend line forming in the RSI along with the MACD crossing to the upside. So I would say all these indicators suggest something positive. And if you look at the note of where we are right now, we dropped like 40% below the 200-day moving average. Usually, that's kind of, an area where a lot of people enter buyback in. and you go back higher. So next time as you go up, what you want to look at is how high above the moving average, 200-day moving average you go before you become a bubble in wave 1 and wave 2. So in wave 2, generally speaking, that's like 20x, historically speaking. And then you go look at wave 3, and that's actually a massive number. So you plot that, you get another 22x, right? So you get, we missed the bottom here, right? So if you get that, okay, that's 28x. So you get the narrative. So 300% is nothing because in wave 2, wave 1, we didn't do much. So we are anticipating the wave 2 coming in. So if you have the patience for the market to do its stuff, you are going to take out that benefit, reap that benefit when the market actually runs crazy like it has done in 2017. Maybe this time you're going to see even higher volatility to the upside because the structure actually indicates a continuation of this movement. Now, don't get this wrong. You go to the Google, you search like, cup and handle pattern, because I'm not going to explain it again. We've done that 2-3 times here. You look at this range where you are seeing your cup developed and then your handle. So if you're plotting that as a cup and handle, you see things evolving like this and then your handle coming out, right? That suggests like this one is going to continue with even higher momentum. So let's see how many of us are still in the market to take the benefits at that point in time. So guys, if you receive value, please do hit that like and subscribe button. And if you want these kind of updates for you on a regular basis, you can look at the Patreon. The link is given in the description below. That's it, guys. I'll meet you on the next video. Bye-bye.